Hello and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News Channel. I'm going to discuss why Bitcoin is not actually a store of value. It is looked at as an investable asset. I know there's a lot of people who actually say, "Oh, it's definitely a store of value. It has value that way." But if it was a store of value, when the inflation numbers came out, it should have actually went up, but it kept going down when inflation numbers come out. Because a store of value has more value when like something like fiat inflates. So the thing is, if it is actually a store of value, then when inflation numbers signal record highs or like pretty much 20-year highs, I think it's the highest since like 1991 or something, it should have actually gone up in price because dollar value going down, Bitcoin stays stable, so Bitcoin price should have actually gone up. The fact that it kept going down means that most people do not actually see it as a store of value. Maybe some funds do, but most people do not actually see Bitcoin as a store of value. It is looked at as an investable asset. An investable asset, essentially like stocks, it's going to go down when inflation numbers come out because that means people will buy less stuff. So it's actually looked at as something that an investment that people buy with extra money that they have. Inflation does not help that extra money that you actually have part. Because like if prices inflate, you can't buy as much stuff. You don't have as much money left over. You can't buy as much Bitcoin. Demand goes down. And so price actually goes down. Now, Bitcoin is just like following a trend the last couple of days of going down. It'll probably go down to 30,000 again before basically bouncing back up essentially. But the thing is like right now, right now, despite how much people want to say it has value has value as a store of value, it really doesn't, and the inflation numbers really tell the entire story of how people actually see it. Does people see it as a currency? That's hard to tell with the inflation numbers, but definitely not a store of value as the inflation numbers. The hash rate is also not quite recovering the way I want it to. It is kind of like slowly stepping up in recovery, and that actually might take longer than I originally thought. Hopefully by the end of the year, we are actually going up again and things will actually start breaking a new high. But right now, we're just basically waddling around 30 to 35,000. Hopefully we did actually break through 35,000 for a little while and then like we went back down. So there's a lot of resistance and support right there. I personally think like a lot of the long-term holders are just buying in at 30,000. Some of the whales are trying to dump past 30,000, but it's really not working because there seems to be like a lot of buying action right around 30,000 and right below 30,000. And no matter how much they actually want to sell, people do actually buy it up, and they're not really willing to take that risk. And risk their own bags essentially. Right now, it is like short-term holders that are actually short-term traders that are selling and long-term holders that are buying. There is record amount of Bitcoin leaving the exchanges, which means people are actually storing the Bitcoin for basically long-term storage in cold storage, and they're not really selling. So the supply is somewhat drying up. It might take a while, but we will go back up. But with the inflation numbers and Bitcoin not going up because of inflation numbers instead of going down, that basically shows you that it is people do not see it as a store of value. So that is the news for today. Let me know what you think, like and subscribe, and hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.